Boys leader Enrique Tarrio is set to be arraigned following his arrest in Washington Monday night. Tarrio is suspected of setting fire to a Black Lives Matter banner stolen.
I'm not going to cry about a group of people that don't give a crap about their constituents.
They call themselves Western chauvinists. They're certainly male-dominating.
And this right here shows you the power when we, the right wing, unite.
The leader of the Proud Boys makes a stunning revelation.
I am a Western chauvinist who refuses to apologize for creating the modern world.
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
Breathe fire like a dragon killing demons. Go hard, yeah, we gotta seize the day. Hellfire raining down upon my people. If you're gonna bring the hate, we can bury it today. We all been lost, we all been cold. Everyone rise to our brethren code. We got your back, we all been low. Let's all rise to the brethren.
But in no other nation do people enjoy greater freedom, opportunity, and prosperity than here in the United States of America.
USA! 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 USA!
Do you condemn those people? Can you say that right now?
Okay, I can't say that because I think
Why not?
condemn is a very strong word, and I think it's a little bit too strong. Because I'm the head of the organization and I know exactly what we planned and what we didn't plan, and we did not coordinate to assault the Capitol.
Enrique Tarrio is the Proud Boys' current leader. And over the past 4 years, he's seen the group grow from a few guys in a bar to thousands of members across the United States.
Right now, the most important thing that we have going for us is that we all share the same belief. The belief that we should put America first. America first! America first! We're all Proud Boys! We're all Proud Boys!
Fuck Antifa! Fuck Antifa! Fuck Antifa!
I don't know why it did that. You know, I was going through my fucking timeline now while we're on the standby screen. And the amount of fucking people bitching about their monetization on fucking Twitter is fucking retarded.
Well,
Like, dude, I post for free, right? And it's never been a thing to like fucking get paid for it. And it's a good incentive. I'm not saying it's not.
for
But
sure.
stop worrying about like trying to catch the algorithm
Right.
and when am I going to get paid?
That was
And
so 2018.
yeah, it just doesn't fucking make any sense to me.
No,
It's fucking
2018.
retarded.
Well, okay, I'm gonna jump into devil's advocate for 2 seconds. The only thing I was super annoyed by, first of all, the first thing that happened, um, I was just about to reach the threshold, and then he added like the 3-month thing. And I was like, well, what the fuck? And then as soon as I got to it, I was like, haha, I'll make $2 a week. That's great. I don't care. I was like joking about it. I was like, I just wanted to like get the milestone. And I reached the threshold for getting ad rev, and then it was like, oh, womp womp. If you don't make $30 in 2 weeks, you don't get it. I was
What's
like,
crazy to me is that
literally the day after I got it, that happened.
I hit the impressions really quickly after getting out of prison, and I didn't click the monetization thing like you could see on my account. I don't have like the subscriber thing or any of that. So, but I've seen like people make like fucking like $60 every 2 weeks, you know, with very high impressions. And I'm like, oh, I mean, it's cool, you know, it pays for your phone bill.
Yeah, right.
But, like I just fucking post what's on my mind, and that's it. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a typo machine. You know,
Horrible. I'm
yes,
the queen of typos.
yesterday I had to edit a tweet 3 times. You know, I just posted it and I'm reading, like I get the notification, I click on it, I read it, and I'm like, fuck, I forgot the word women completely. And yeah, I just edit, and they're like, oh, you shouldn't edit, you should take it down and you should repost it and reword. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna
No, I
edit.
edit. I almost always edit when possible.
Yeah, it doesn't make I don't have Serena's in the comments. I don't have the subscriber thing. You can't subscribe to me.
Like, what Serena are you talking about?
My old lady, she's in the comments right
Oh,
now.
your girlfriend. Okay, not the
Yeah.
freaking one. Okay, that's not
No, not that Serena. No, absolutely fucking not. I don't even know what happened to her.
I have no idea. I
No,
honestly don't.
she
I was
was
actually like, Jacob Bangles was like calling me yesterday, and talking to me about like things, and like he's like going off, and he was talking about Serena and Omar. I was like, okay, Jacob, I gotta go. I was like, I can't do this. I was
Talk
like,
to
I
you
gotta
in the
go.
morning.
Bye.
So let's get into the topic. So yesterday was the infamous Andrew Wilson and Kim Coulter debate, and we held it live here, and it was live on the Crucible, correct? Just quick
It
question.
was on Jake Rattlesnake TV too, or whatever.
Okay. But the Crucible, just question, because I not because of anything. I just don't watch podcasts. Like beyond like our shows and stuff like that. I don't watch. I don't have time to watch it. I wish I did. I wish I had like the amount of like an attention span where I could fucking do that. But it was Andrew. Is Andrew like a co-host there or the host of the
No, he's
Crucible?
that's his show. That's his channel. It's
Oh,
the
I mean, he
Crucible.
kind of seemed like he was the host though, but yeah,
yeah. I mean,
that's
it's called
fine.
the Crucible. He was.
Well, I mean, I said that we were gonna cover it on the War Boys, but like it was a little bit like, oh, so this is you already set this up to stream to your guys' stuff, but that like was not offered. So
Yeah. So
whatever. It's whatever. They're friends. I knew they were friends.
and we're
I don't want to. That there's nothing to do with anything that matters about this conversation.
well, we're planning on doing commentary, but it was kind of difficult because there was a lot of like back and forth. So for the first 5 minutes, we did some commentary, but there was a lot of people talking. So it kind of just like brought in a new voice into it, and they didn't want to go back and forth and mute it and all that. And look, we were going to do an after show review, but it did go on for quite a bit. I thought it was only going to be about an hour, maybe a little bit over, but I was dead tired. It
I
was
really thought an hour and a half, like with us just like going back and forth after like an hour and a half,
Yeah.
opening statements, back and forth for 60 minutes, super chats,
Yeah.
whatever. It doesn't, again, that none of that is actually the relevant part of all of this anyway.
Yeah. So, okay. So Kim, let's start with what your thoughts are. I'll give you my opinion. Adriana, you caught it, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
I certainly
All right.
did.
So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, and I'm not gonna try to pat myself on the back, but I thought I was gonna do at least a little bit better than I did. I do feel like the layout the layout of it was misrepresented. I honestly, when you tell me that there's going to be 60 minutes, and again, I should have asked more clarifying questions. I should have been a question machine. But when you say like, okay, this is the point, this is the topic of the debate. The topic is like my opinion being that the efforts she claims that she's making don't seem sincere. They seem like you're actually just pandering to one group. But again, that was the topic. That was what we agreed on. And I was like, okay, if I have 60 minutes to talk about that, I'm not going to bring like 50 names and a bunch of other stuff. I'm just going to vaguely bring this other stuff up because it's not really crucial to the point. It's just like an example. And in retrospect, yeah, that makes me look retarded. But again, I should have just asked more questions because at one point we did go into like, oh, like what are the specific other topics, and I should have just been like, oh, well, we should both be prepared to talk about X, Y, and Z, and then whatever. Again, I could have prepared a lot better. I thought I would at least do a little bit better. I think I also had a lot of false confidence from the events leading up to the debate, which again, we'll talk about a different time because I'm not here sitting here trying to be like, oh, well, you don't even know what happened beforehand. Like, I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in trying to get pats that I don't deserve. I tried to stand my own, and when he tried to go off into other avenues, I didn't really have a choice there. And and then I feel like we ended up talking in circles. Largely my fault. I do feel, however, I was the only one that ever got muted. He did mute Andrew one time, but it was a performative mute because Andrew wasn't even talking. He was like, for you, I'll put his microphone on mute so he can't talk. And it was like, okay, everybody's talking over everybody. You're not going to tell me that I was the only one doing it. And it just so happened, like, when Andrew was like, oh, well, do you want to talk to Rachel? It's like, yeah, I'll talk to Rachel. But I didn't think he was going to do it in the middle of the debate. I didn't think he was going to be like, come on, sweetie. And to have her, it's like, she basically looked me in the face and was like, I do convince women. I just don't try to convince women like you because you're a dumb fat bitch. And it was just like, in the back of my mind, again, my producer Charles gave me this piece of advice, and I want to give him credit for that because I think he was really accurate. I was not gonna go low in this thing. I was not gonna match that at all with Andrew, with her. That was never. I was not gonna do that. Um, because the simple fact is that's what all the feminists do in the debates with them, right? They're always like, well, you're a hypocrite and you're fat and you're dumb. And I just didn't want to do that. That wasn't what I was there to debate about. I actually feel like I have points. I wanted to I have true intent behind my message there. And it wasn't that like, oh well, just Rachel Wilson is the worst. That was not it at all. That's never been it. And again, to have her just randomly interrupt the thing and have me muted for over 90% of the time she was there, just for her to be like, well, she's fat and stupid. I don't know if it's an IQ problem. And yeah, I flipped off Jake Rattlesnake because it was like, okay, so I start to try to interject with my point instead, and I get muted. But she can go on and on about how I'm fat and stupid, and that's totally relevant to the debate, even though this is not her debate. So anyway, that was annoying. It was nice that Andrew offered the olive branch. I do like he's much better at this than I am. And it speaks to the fact that he didn't even give an opening remark. I think that I don't know, the agreement upon the structure of the debate was more performative, and excuse me, I'm just tired. But yeah, that's how I feel. I did not do great. I thought I would do at least a little bit better. I should have been more prepared to go into tiny little details I did not think we would have time for. And I didn't want them to be like, oh, you're monopolizing the conversation to give a history lesson. I don't know. Again, I should have asked more questions.
Okay, so let me try it. I'm having a boomer moment right now.
Here we go, Kim.
And actually, speaking of boomer moment,
They asked you questions. They should have been an actual real debate. Like it wasn't like there was no. It really was just like you both were given like a second to say what you wanted to say, and then you just went in circles over one thing because that's what they wanted to focus on.
Enrique, what were you gonna?
Well, I was gonna start with I was
Yeah.
called a boomer by Serena in the comments. Actually, she's a boomer. She's like, you have subscriptions, and I'm like, I don't have subscriptions on. And like your account says subscribers or whatever, and it's people that I subscribe to. I subscribe.
Yeah, exactly. There's a difference.
And to those watching right now, go into my profile, hit subscriptions, and then go ahead and follow all those people. They're great people. Okay, so let's start with this. Let's start with what a debate is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the strategies of a debate. I guess, you know what? I'll start with the strategies of the debate. The number one thing in a debate is the knowledge of what you're going to argue with the other person, right? Like you have to be very knowledgeable in what your debate topic is, right? And I think that's priority. That's the first thing. Yeah. The other thing is presentation and performance. How do you present your information and how do you perform? And the third is more of the other one is knock your opponent off their game. And the way that you do that is there's multiple ways, and one is interrupting. The other one is slow down the flow of somebody, right? Now let's talk about Andrew and his wife, right? And Rachel. They do this for a living, right? He sits there in front of a camera and he does it. And at Word Debate, I think he was supposed to be booked or something, and something happened, like a scheduling issue happened. So these are things that they do. And then second, the other thing I want to say is like the structure of the debate too. Although I do think that, the moderator was trying to be fair. I think there was some instances where it just seemed like he was asking a question, because it's always, well, I'm just asking questions and I'm trying to, but I don't have a heavy criticism of how he handled the debate. I think in the beginning, and I thought it was a pretty alpha move of him, where they're like, let's do these opening statements. And he's like, I don't need an opening statement. Which I thought was intelligent. It was kind of like to throw you off. Like, I don't need opening statements, you know? So I thought that was very performative, um, very good. Um, I think you knew what you wanted to say. I think it's sometimes he came in and he threw you off, where he made
Yeah, I
you
did feel that way.
repeat yourself. Again, another strategy. And then
Yeah.
when we talk about the primary of knowing what we're talking about, I think both of you have a grasp of the knowledge of what you guys were talking about, because at the end of the day, you guys were talking about Rachel, right?
Yeah. That's
And
what I was trying to redirect to, but again, like I should have been willing to have the conversation. I just
yeah. And I think that um he is the professional in the field because he's married to her, right? So he knows her best.
mhm.
Uh you had a passion, and we're saying, well, and this is where I had a hard time following the debate as a whole, even Andrew's side. Um I didn't know what you guys were actually like debating about. Like I get the premise, the base of the premise, like you feel like she um in a way is afraid to get into the more controversial
And
topic.
I also I think she puts herself on a platform of I'm a cultural icon because I move the cultural needle, and I don't think that her actions demonstrate that she does. I think that it's bread and I think it's a performance piece for people who she knows are buying tickets already. Essentially, like she's throwing red meat to the carnivores, and the omnivores are the onlookers.
Mhm. And maybe that's her beat, right? And
Mhm.
that's what I felt like Andrew and her were saying, like that's her beat, that's how she feels um that she was doing it. So I feel like there was two opinions that never intersected through the whole debate. Um as far as like you go in this, I understood what you were trying to say. Um but he was making you repeat it, which is was kind of difficult. Um and I think he did a good job. I think he did a good job of throwing people off and then dominating. He turned into the interviewer a couple times, which is
Yeah, it
the
was a tactic that I should have been I saw and did not know how to respond to, if I'm gonna be completely honest.
yeah, and then he did. There was another performative move that I don't know if it was actually planned. I don't think so, because she said that she was driving. Um, and then she gets there, and he's like, "Well, you want to tell her yourself? Come here." And he sits her down. And it turned into a straight cat fight, right?
Yeah, well, like I
Which
said, I that's where I think the mod particularly failed, because like if you're trying to keep this as a serious debate, like no, you're not bringing your wife on to get digs in on the people who are debating and then send them right back out into the debate. This is why this was one of the reasons why I asked to have you there, because like I knew you would be impartial, like we're friends or whatever, and like we're very like we
mm,
have a working relationship, but it's not as if you wouldn't have been willing to be like, Kim, shut the fuck up.
yeah.
Like
I've
I
done it, not to you, but I've done it before with our hosts because we've had debates. I think we've held like three of them.
so
Um,
back to what so like in a situation like that, having at least one person on there on my behalf, at least in that regard, would have been able to say, hey, no, like this isn't the debate, get out, fine, if you want to talk to her, find another time.
yeah. Um, I also I think that another thing, I think just like the general premise of the debate was kind of just weak. Because I think it should have been you and her from the beginning.
I agree.
Right? Because what you're doing is you're third partying it, right? And I don't know how the debate came about, but you're like, hey, I don't think that. Correct me if I'm wrong here.
Yeah.
I don't think Rachel believes in what she preaches. I believe
No,
she's
I think she
pandering.
believed. No, no, no. I'm gonna just gonna
Okay.
correct that. I'm just gonna. The reason that the debate happened in the first place was because I wrote a post. I said, when I was getting into commentary and in Coulter, whatever, told me very early on, don't become the rah rah, I'm a woman, I'm an anti-feminist person. Don't like put yourself into a basket like that. If you want to talk about anti-feminist topics, that's fine, but don't put yourself into this, like I brought it up, like her whole brand is literally that she's Rachel for patriarchy. Like, okay. Anne warned me, don't do that because it's a disingenuous overused trope that's like a decade old, and she was saying this to me in like 2015, 2016. So I pointed out that I didn't think that her intent lined up with the fruits of her labor. And I most of the place I have observed Rachel is through videos of her own and through the interactions, not just her what she says, but the interactions that happen in her feed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a huge part of my premise is that like that doesn't speak to somebody who's trying to move a needle. It speaks to somebody who's trying to play a performance, which again is fine, but like let's not split hairs. So I went into the whole thing. I talked about how it's like the gays against groomers. They want to like, oh well, I'm a special gay because I know it's not okay to touch children. Like, no, that is a normal thought. That is not something that you get extra celebration for because you happen to be gay. You don't get to celebrate extra because you happen to be a woman who believes that feminism is dog shit. That's like, I believe that 1 + 1 = 2. Woo! In my mind, it's silly. So Andrew came in, and that was what he was like. Oh well, we'll debate on this. And again, there was a lot of scheduling stuff, and we can go into that a whole other time.
Mm-hmm.
And then last minute backing out, which is a whole other thing. I think was a little weird. But again, the premise of the debate was he challenged me to a debate about his wife and whether or not I think that her intent matches up with what the fruits of her labor are.
Okay.
Like that was, and that's a weird thing to debate, but like again, he asked for the debate and I wasn't going to be like, oh, because he tried to, at one point to get it changed from a debate to just like a space, and I was like, no, but like, why would you even want a moderator if you just wanted to yell at me over a space?
Mm-hmm. I think another thing, an issue that you had, which is one of your strengths and you didn't use it, is you didn't lean like she was saying. I think it was her more. Well, actually, both of them, both Andrew and Rachel did it. They were trying to do the so you believe it's the Jews, right?
Oh yeah, they did.
Like I think that you genuinely believe, what you when you talk about, because I obviously you come on the show a lot, and I
We talk
think
about it a lot.
we talk about it a lot, and I feel like there you could have done a better job in leaning into who you are and
Right.
defending. Like I think you were trying to moderate yourself a little bit,
Mhm.
where you should have just been like, yes, it's them. And I know that he followed up. He's like, well, name them, name them, name them. And I think one thing that we can't forget when we have these debates is like, don't don't try to beat somebody. Try to be like authentic in your beliefs, because that's where you're grounded in, right?
Mhm.
If other people want to feel like, oh well, this person's just a conspiracy theorist or whatever, that's fine. You let them believe that, because that's never going to change. But I feel like you should have been like, yes, this is the problem. Obviously, their content's on YouTube, so I would obviously try.
That's another like
Yeah. So
um,
obviously they're on YouTube, and I wouldn't want, like I tell you this, Kim, like I will never silence you off anything. Just be mindful
of
when you
which
pick
platform we're on.
which
Yeah.
platform to stream on. And I feel like you should have leaned into that more, right? Like
Mhm.
it's simple. You can't use the N word, you can't use the F word, you can't be like overtly like, oh, it was the Jews.
Yeah.
But
Which is what they wanted me to do.
you could do all of that. You could do all of that without using those specific words.
That's
And
true.
again, look, this is something I think that you genuinely believe, and I agree with some of the things that you have to say. You
Right.
know, and I feel like yeah, I think in that case you could have like leaned into who you are.
Well,
Yeah.
let's congratulate her first of all for standing up and doing it in the first place.
Well, the overwhelming prediction was that I was
Yeah.
gonna like cry and be upset and start yelling curse words at them, and I at least hope that those people that they understand that like that's not what this turned into. I see Rachel's in the comments right now. I don't know if you saw that.
I don't have the comments open. Yeah, okay, I see it. She
Um,
says, I told you my mission and reason for being online is to correct the historical record on feminism, which has been rewritten. I don't care if you believe that or if you like me, no reason to debate you. Um, I mean, I don't want to get into the back and forth.
So I will.
There
I'm
was
not
enough of
gonna.
that
Again,
yesterday.
I just want to respond to that because
Go ahead.
the point is, Rachel, your husband agreed to the topic that we talked about in the beginning, and if he had instead said, "Well, that's not her mission. Her mission is to, as you just said, um, correct the historical record on feminism," then this wouldn't have even evolved in the first place, and he probably would have said, "We don't need to debate on it." But when you agree to a debate topic, again, I don't buy that you guys like just didn't talk to each other about it for over a week, and I don't buy that like, oh, it was like, oh, what is even the debate about? I'm not buying any of that. I don't think that that makes sense in a relationship like your guys's. But again, that's just my opinion. And this whole thing was based off an opinion, and it wasn't around that. And again, uh you can say uh you don't care if I believe you or if I like you. The problem was never that I didn't think what you were saying was accurate. In fact, my opening statement specified that a lot of your factual information is correct, and that I didn't elaborate into, and I agree with you on it in my opening statement. But I'm not questioning the quality uh of your research. I'm not questioning the information or its authenticity. I was questioning your motive. And when you say your intention is to win women over, and I'm observing the exact opposite in every interaction I ever see you have, that's just the conclusion I come to. So you don't care if I like you? Well, your husband challenged me to a debate on this. You know, like that's all I have to say. And again, unnecessary to jump in and start physique shaming. I think we both know why. But again, I guess at least your husband was kind enough to come in and, try to rectify that afterwards. But yeah, no, the whole thing isn't me criticizing you for wanting to correct the record. Yeah, that's that.
Okay, before I get into her next comment, because I think that's actually important. I
Yeah.
actually want to hit that at the end. I think, look, I'll give you the performance thing, right? So, I didn't like the name calling, right? That part I was like, okay, yeah, this is getting a bit much. Even though, look, I'm used to doing it on the show, right? And look, it's part of fucking being on the internet and shit talking, right?
Yeah, that's fine, but there's also the time and the place.
Yeah. So, but I'm strong in that belief, and let me tell you how persuasive Andrew was to me. That when she got off the chair and he was explaining, I'm like, there's no way he could explain himself out of this one. and like he goes in there and he for a second, because then I went back to it. For a second, Andrew had me convinced. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, she insulted her intelligence. That's kind of worse. And I was like, no, wait, stop.
Shut the fuck up, Enrique.
Stop the witchcraft. Get out of my head. Get out of my head. But I obviously, like, even pre-show, I didn't get to talk to you last night because I was tired, and Serena actually, like, I saw your comment in the morning. I was literally like, I called her right after, and I'm like, baby, I'm going to bed. She's like, play one game with me.
You can't say no to the woman. I know.
I was like, all right. So I didn't get to talk to you last night. So we really didn't talk before this. I think, look, I think in conclusion, I think Andrew and Rachel did a very good job. I think that you held your ground, but you're not in that space where they are. And again, like the topic itself was very nuanced and it was very confusing for the listener.
Yeah, no, but still, to even now, nobody knows what the debate was, and it's like I really feel like we didn't actually stick to the debate.
Yeah.
And again, I had certain notes prepared. I didn't have other notes. That's on me. I'm not trying to say like anything else. Like there is definitely preparation that could have been done that I didn't do, and there's stuff that I wanted to talk about and I decided not to even include in my notes because I was like they're gonna harass me for going on mini autistic rants about blood magic.
Yeah. Obviously, I didn't have time, but I wish I could do. I wish I could have done debate prep with you.
Next time. I do want to
uh,
I do enjoy it. I was actually I did debate formally in high school. And after high school a little bit, and I've done like blood sports type stuff before, but it's also been a long time.
Yeah.
Like I think the last real blood sports like thing I did was back when we were, pre your stay up in the fishing up north.
Yeah, fishing up north.
And yeah, so like I said, I'm not trying to I'm not gonna spin a web of cope. I'm not gonna again, I didn't even really go into this thinking that I was gonna win and it was gonna be I was gonna walk out yeah, I just was like, no, he challenged me to debate. I'm at least gonna stand my own, and I'm gonna prove to the people who think that I can't sit on a conversation and not just start screaming at people and calling people names and crying. That was the big one. I was like, you really think I'm gonna cry? If anything, I'm gonna show up to at least prove that I'm not that fucking weak.
I live by clips, right? Because I can't, like I said, I can't watch things for a long time. And
right.
You debated somebody that I consider probably in the top 5 people that are very eloquent and very insulting when they want to be.
Yeah.
So you chose a very formidable.
He chose it. He chose it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. But regardless,
whatever.
like you accepted something.
Yeah.
So what do you think? So it's pretty obvious that I think that you think that you could have done better. I'm going to use those words. What do you think? Just moving forward, what do you think that you should do? In those circumstances, again, we're just talking about debates. What do you think that you could do? What do you think that could have been done better on your part?
Again, I think it all primarily it lied in the notes that I prepared. I think it primarily lied in not letting myself get overwhelmed when certain tactics are used against me, and actually having a deeper understanding of what that'll be like in the moment. It's like firearms training, actually. This is the closest thing you can talk about. It's one thing to go to a range and just shoot a couple down and try to get your aim accurate, but what are you going to do if you're out somewhere and someone tries to attack you? Your adrenaline's going to be up. You're going to have a whole bunch of other things. So there's very intensive training. Well, I would call it intensive, where you run laps and get your pulse up, and then you go in and you do a thing, or and I think that what I did was the equivalent of having the rudimentary thoughts that I wanted to have written down, but not actually implicating that, or not actually putting that into practice.
Okay. So look, and then here to address something, and then Age, I'll give you the floor for a sec. So when you announced this debate, I went in, I put it up or whatever, and I think Rachel came into the comments, and I said, look, I don't want to. Obviously, you are my friend, and you've been my friend for a very long time. But I like Rachel and I like Andrew. So I said, look, I love you and your hubby. This is just a fucking debate. This isn't real life. And I said something to her. I'm like, you guys would get along in person. And the reason why I kind of know that is, again, I've never had an interaction besides just online text between Rachel and Andrew. But I feel like they're good people. And coming from a person that runs an organization of very, very unruly men that argue all day on fucking Telegram chats and then say that they're going to do the worst things to each other when they meet up in person, and then we get together in person and they're slapping each other's ass and fucking calling each other fags.
I was gonna say gay
in a very loving way.
No
So
homo.
I feel like obviously this is it was very conflictive, like very adversarial. But I think you guys can get along, you know. And Rachel said, you know, like if and I don't think there was actual real world beef, but she says that you
There
know
wasn't
she's
until she was like, "Well, you're fat."
yeah.
Like, damn, bitch. I'm lucky
You
if
know
I'm
what? I'm
pregnant. Can you
surprised.
chill?
You know why I know that you're not an SJW is because I heard that and I'm like, oh, here
Because you
comes
heard
Kim.
how I respond to
Kim,
that shit
Kim,
normally.
Kim's gonna go. I'm pregnant, you bitch. Like I thought you were gonna pull off the I'm pregnant thing, but you didn't. But even with those insults, I think this is just like internet beef.
Yeah.
And I think that this could be fucking water under the bridge, and like you got in an argument on the internet. I don't think it's a big deal.
That would be awesome.
You have a husband, you have a
Yeah.
beautiful family.
Hmm.
Uh, the unfortunate thing is that you live in West Virginia. I'm sorry to hear that. Uh, but I think that like yeah, I think that you guys should just drop this beef because I think that you guys and look, she actually makes a really good point about the hold
I
on.
saw she said a couple things, but
No,
I
no,
have
but
been
I'm
trying to
saying
not pay
about
attention.
she doesn't deny the existence of Jewish blood magic. Look, I don't know what the fuck Jewish blood magic is.
You're like, I'm not
And,
doing it.
and I have no
I got a
idea
channel to protect people.
what Jewish space lasers are. But like what these are topics that you write an article on, you know, it's to kind of like argue your points because it's really hard to do this. You got to be really good at fucking debating to
Yeah.
like fucking like articulate these points to somebody that doesn't believe it. But apparently she believes it. I think you should write an article about it. And regardless of the fact, I think you guys should drop the beef.
Yeah. Well, again, this is like lady trouble complaining. I had and a only age on the stream will understand this because you're a dude. But yeah, like for like 2 hours after I had like the most horrible Braxton Hicks, so I was just like, I'm just gonna stay up and annotate exactly the things that I wanted to elaborate on, and I'm just gonna write about it, and I'm gonna like talk about it in a video. So I'm sitting there like essentially with like cramps, like. um but yeah.
You guys are very patriarchy focused, I guess. Uh, and then Adriana, you sound like you're in a fish tank.
You do. It's
Can you hear
No,
me?
yeah, I
okay,
hear
there
you
it
now.
is.
You hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
Guys all got together, did it. Doesn't matter, like why it happened. It happened. It was done. You guys all have opinions, and all of our opinions, all of your opinions, both of you had really good, valuable points. You all have very good, valuable points. The only thing that I did not like is the roundabout of it and the circulating.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wish I could have heard more of what opinions that you guys each had. You know what I'm saying?
And you
That's
know
what I
what? Where
wish
I'm really
happened.
strong, and where I really can not command a conversation, but where I can like have full on conversations, it's not when I'm like, well, not when it's like a one on one thing, but like it's my panels. That's what gets them like that's what people enjoy the most of my content is when I get a group of people together who are open-minded but controversial and blunt, and we have really really great panels we've done, from back when in the Magoa days of doing it for 12 hours a day once a month, all the way to our current ones on Warpaint, and that is a shameless plug, but there you go. But I appreciate the apology, Rachel, and that's very nice. um
Atta girl.
and yeah, I mean, she was another comment that I wanted to
Both
read.
both of you are the best of the West, right? Like you guys, again,
Best
like
of
you
the
guys have
West. Gateway to
beautiful,
the West.
beautiful families. You're creating the future, right? By having babies, including you, that has one in the oven, and then now Serena's in there. Fuck, I shouldn't have done this. Serena's in there going, "Oh, Kim's giving me baby fever." Don't even think about it. Don't even.
Oh, Enrique. Why not?
Get a
Uh,
room.
yeah. So, but yeah. Wait. What comment you wanted me to highlight?
Do, 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 do. well, okay, so there's 3 comments here. There's first was I'd rather have my looks insulted than my integrity insulted. Fair enough. Um I'm not denying the existence of Judah. Okay, yeah, my critique isn't that. I guess it's now that you're not denying it. That's great, but it wasn't there was just key people that I think in the back in the context of your book, and I would love to go into. I'll write it all down again. I started this last night. There's key people and there's key events and and contributing factors that I don't think were included that might have been more influential had they had been included, and especially given the current climate, probably worth talking about. But again, like you don't. That's my. You can listen to it. You cannot. I appreciate the apology, and yep, an article or a video. I'm down.
Okay. All right.
This is good. This is good.
Final
Yeah.
thoughts. Age.
Good on you, women. Good. You guys are beautiful women, and this is how it should be done. Really.
Age. Your final thoughts.
My final thoughts is, like I said, good on you, women. This is how it should be done. You both showed up. Well, Andrew was the one who showed up, and then Rachel came in. But Kimberly, you did a good job. You showed up. You stood by your opinion. You approached the situation. You did not back down. Andrew's a really good debater. Andrew was supporting his wife, just like your husband would support you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think
Yeah,
that
of
it was.
course.
I just think my honest opinion was I just think there was a roundabout situation of the entire thing. I wish I could have heard more, and I would like for both of you to talk and get to a groundbreaking like denomination of what
Yeah.
needs to be done, because I don't think that there was a
Groundbreaking
actual answer
denomination.
through this process.
Right.
But I know you guys can get to an answer, and like Enrique said, I think you both can be friends. You guys both seem like Kimberly's an amazing woman. Rachel, I don't know you. Andrew, I don't know you. Enrique, I know you, and I know Kimberly. They are both amazing people. Kimberly is an amazing woman. She's very opinionated, which we all are. But I think that if you guys talked and came to a conclusion, because like I said, there was no conclusion in that debate whatsoever, and that's the most disappointing part about it. But I'm
Hmm.
glad that this is happening right now, and I'm glad that she's messaging you in the comments and saying what she's saying, because that's respect. I respect that a lot, and Kimberly, I
Yeah.
respect you a lot for how you're handling it. And I honestly just think that good things can come from this. That's it. And good job.
Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be
Wouldn't that be
a
great?
unknown third
Yeah, like
option?
I believe that mothers are amazing. I believe you're an amazing mother. Like I said, I don't know Rachel, but like Enrique said, you guys are both family unit people.
Hmm.
She had her husband debating you, like you. I'm not. She didn't have her husband debating you, like, but it's a thing. You know what I mean? Like they're together in it.
Right.
You have the
Right.
same thing with your husband. You know what I mean? Like, so you guys are very similar in that type of situation. It's funny,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah. Let's move on with this and be more denominating with it, like together. That's all I gotta say. But yeah,
Kim.
good job, guys.
Kim. Last words.
Yeah. Well. I was the two shocking turns of, I guess I shouldn't call them shocking turns of events because that makes it sound kind of sarcastic, and I don't mean it sarcastically. I did expect after she came in for Andrew to come in and kind of finish the slam dunk of the insults. And it was sort of it threw me off further that he was like, "No, it's obvious you're pregnant." And I was like, "Oh wow!" Like, uh, thank you. I don't like. And I'm
All
glad
is
that
fair in
Rachel
love and
joined the
war.
chat, and I'm glad that um we'll let bygones be bygones, and we'll eat some squash and beef. And yeah, I'm glad thank you, Enrique, for staying up with me last night.
No.
And thank you for doing this today. I'm glad we got to talk about it.
Okay. Yeah. Again,
I'm
I
okay.
think I think it was entertaining. I'll tell you that. And I think you guys hit all the other topics I was
But
going to
at
talk
some
about.
points, it was nail scratching. That's
Yada
all I
yada
gotta say.
yada. Rachel's a great person. Yada yada yada. Kim's a great person. Andrew's a great person. Whatever. Uh, I'm actually going to pick up her book. I'm interested in reading it. Speaking of books, I got mine's on pre-sale. Please, tariobook.com.
I was waiting for the segue.
Yeah, I got a plug. I got to make money somewhere. I mean, I started this complaining about people that were complaining about getting paid on Twitter. But yeah, go to tariobook.com. I wrote. It's up for pre-sale. It's based on 13 composition books that I wrote while I was in prison, and we're compiling that all together. God help the editor. My handwriting.
I want to be one of the quotes in the title that's like my favorite Cuban biopic.
But again, thank you, Rachel, for joining us in the comments. Kim, as always, do you have anything coming up?
I have a few videos in the chamber that I've been working on because I'm trying to do some pre-recorded content. My producer, I want to see this as a good thing because he's been getting a lot more work, but that means that I don't have my producer as much, and I have a lot going on. Believe it or not, part of this was the scheduling issue was because I literally do schedule all my free time as long as like a week or two in advance. So I'm trying to get that stuff up. I don't think I'll return to a consistent stream until after the baby's born. But if you keep an eye up on Warboy Studio, I'll be joining the NewsBriefs as much as I can, and I'll be doing some pre-recorded content, hopefully with my good friend Adriana right here, who is the we'll call her the part-time co-host for now.
All right, guys. So I am signing off. Thank you guys for joining us. And I can't find my fucking mouse. Here it is.
DEI for the win.
I don't have a fucking producer. I fucking self-produce. That's why it's so amazing.
Oh my God, we should be like, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me?
All right, we're out.
We're out.
I know.
Load up on guns and bring your friends. It's fun to lose and to pretend she's overboard and self-assured. Oh no, I know a dirty word. Hello.
Peter said Ethan Nordine was the undisputed leader of the group that day as they tried to prevent the peaceful transfer of power.
FBI agents arrested Proud Boys former national chairman Enrique Tarrio at this home in Miami. By 2 this afternoon, he was in federal court.
Here we are.